Hey gang, it's JC, and this is a special edition of the Daily Dose for Monday, July 16th, 2012, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. We have great television archives up top. We have JC's Eye Candy below, and the results of our rock and roll poll question. 65% of you say Scientologists are nuts. Another 28% said they're sort of on the dangerous side, but there might be something to it. Today's rock and roll poll question for the week. The Olympics are coming up, and are you excited about it? A, can't wait. My family and I will watch as much as we can. B, I'll probably watch quite a bit. C, I might watch some of it. Or D, Z's in a row like I'm sleeping. Please answer. Down in the corner, we'll have results for you on Friday. We update the dose on Mondays and Fridays. All right, so the big buzz in the radio industry is that radio is killing itself. No, video didn't kill the radio star. Your iPod didn't kill. You know, people at radio stations, music stations are trying to be iPods these days, which is stupid because there's never a bad song on an iPod because you're the dumbass who put all the songs in. Number two, your iPod doesn't stop twice an hour for 8 minutes to play, not just commercials, but bad commercials. So it's just a bad idea. Just fewer and fewer instances of local people talking to you. You know, there's this consolidation, just trimming the forces. More shows coming in from satellite as opposed to people right here in St. Louis talking to you. And voice tracking, which is a fancy industry term for pre-recorded. The last music station I worked at, there's nobody live on the air from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until 6 o'clock the next morning. And you think to yourself, wait a minute, I was driving home the other day and I heard the guy talking. All pre-recorded like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's just not good for the industry. And then, of course, the rating system, which was the new one that was introduced in 2009, completely corrupt. And it's just giving false readings, and the whole thing is a mess. But if you want to start looking at places where radio is killing itself, look no further than the Big 550. Let me just explain a couple of things here. When I started at that radio station, not quite 2 years ago, I contacted one of their former employees and I said, you know, you got this big career at this radio station, you had another big career at a previous AM radio station, you're on television all the time, you're well respected. Hey, will you come on the air with me and be a guest on my new radio show? And you know what this person said to me? I will come back to KTRS Radio the day that armed federal marshals escort the Dorseys out in handcuffs. This statement will get your attention, particularly when you've just gone to work for these people. I'll come back to that later. The job at KTRS was the worst job I'd had in 30 years. How did I end up there? Okay, as you know, I was being paid a 1.5 year salary that was left on the old station, and then I cut it short because I heard a story. And I heard a story that the Cardinals might possibly be interested in me on some level. So KTRS has the Cardinals. What better idea than to go over there and go to work for them? Now you're further ingrained into the whole Cardinal baseball experience. Okay. 5 days later, poof, they go back to KMOX. Despite the fact that everybody at KTRS told me that they were going to re-up with the Cardinals. Now the wheels come off the radio station. The guy's brother, the guy who hired me, his brother takes over the station. And whenever you're working for somebody other than the guy who hired you, you're on thin ice. Things that had been promised just went up in smoke overnight. 17th to 19th place is where the radio station can be found and where it's always going to be found because they like the way they do things there. The only problem is they're all wrong. Slamming doors in meetings. People pounding their fists on tables just because you maybe expressed an opinion that was not theirs. People insulting. You don't know who the audience is. You don't know who the audience is. I said, well, I must know who the audience is because for 10 years I was in the top 5 of the adult audience, and I noticed that during that same period you were like near the bottom of the list, like 17th, 18th, 19th place. So shouldn't I be the one telling you you don't know who the audience is? Because my ratings support you get the whole idea. That was real popular. There's a bunch of old millionaires who made their money in lighting and packaging and stuff like that. Wouldn't know which end of a microphone to talk into, but go around butting in all over the place all the time over there. They keep shutting down my website. and once it was for a Katy Perry picture. All right, it's obscene, it's pornographic. Okay, now let me just tell you something. Everybody would like to see Katy Perry naked or in some sort of pornographic setting, but there just simply aren't any pictures. Go ahead, scour the internet. You're not going to find any pornographic pictures of Katy Perry, and yet I was accused of posting one. There's no such thing. Oh boy, you know, I had the carousel of co-hosts. That brought quality people into that radio station, the likes of which they had never seen. Not good enough. So, back in May, I was contacted by one of the biggest radio stations in the country, WGN, in Chicago. And they said, hey, we would like you to fill in a couple of Sunday mornings, but we need the approval of the bosses at your radio station. But if they say it's okay, we'd love to have you do it. I go to my managers at KTRS. Can I do it? Yeah, sure. 2 days later, they tell me I'm being replaced. This is the way to run around, and being replaced by a guy who'd never done talk radio before. And a whopping 1.7 days of vacation pay and no severance. Year and a half working for him, doing the best I could, no severance. Then they go to the paper, and someone who actually works for the radio station, a contributor to the radio station, gets to write the story of what happened. The station's version of the story, of course. That's fair. By the way, isn't it great Deb Peterson had her column taken away by the Post-Dispatch? That's fabulous. They give a sleazy story they think you will believe, rather than just saying, look, we need to cut more salaries, and we want boring. We don't want somebody doing anything interesting. We like boring, and we need to cut the salaries, and so we found a way to do that. You know, I got along fine with virtually everybody there. I'm not talking about, you know, look, no matter who it is or where you're working, there's going to be a couple of people you don't get along with, and that's not what I'm talking about. But I got along with everybody there. What I didn't like is the disrespect, not just to me, but to other people. Because when you won't even spring for decent internet service that works, and when you don't give people what they need to succeed, and we're just so openly hostile to the idea of learning how to do something new or something right, you just want to keep banging away at the same hole, even though it's probably wrong. You know, the truth is almost everybody at KTRS Radio gave up a long time ago. And it's like the line in Office Space where they say, you know, people will work just hard enough not to get fired. I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. Okay? I want you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. I've been in electronic media for 37 years, 10 different cities before I got to St. Louis. I worked for and with lots of different kinds of people. Some of those people were great. I learned a lot from them. The worst thing you can have in any kind of an office is a snitch. Somebody who goes around every day of his or her life throwing people under the bus in order to get advancement. I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. There are words like duplicitous and sleazy and dishonest, two-timing, self-absorbed, cheat, scum, vermin, people incapable of having a human moment. Someone who picks on and pushes around little people. Conniving, creepy, a resume patter, kiss ass, liar. I want you to look at this picture. See that picture right there? Study that picture. Look at that picture, okay? I want you to remember that face. Listen to what I have to say. 37 years in the business, 10 different cities, lots of different radio stations. Never have I ever encountered anyone even close. So to review, radio is killing itself. One of the best examples I can give you is the Big 550 KTRS. Remember that story I started with? The Dorseys being escorted out of the building in cuffs by armed federal marshals. Me? Facebook, Showgram with J.C. Corcoran. Twitter, STLJC Corcoran. The website, jcontheline.com. And of course, the Daily Dose. And in the meantime, we'll see what happens next. Okay? The year was 1983, and I was trying to get out of Buffalo, New York, and so a guy from the TV station contacted me and said, you want to do a Stooge Fest with your buddies on the radio? And I said yes. And so back to 1983 for a WUTV Buffalo, New York promo for a Stooge Fest. That's JC's Eye Candy. Have fun with that. That's right below what you're looking at right now. Please answer our question about the Olympics and the rock and roll poll. JC gives it to you straight, boys and girls. You know, I don't give you a version of the way somebody thinks they'll get you to believe or wishes it was the way they tell you. For 28 years, I've been telling you what I see, and I've been giving you an honest account of what goes on in and out of the business. I'll continue to do so right here. In the meantime, that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Monday, July 16th, 2012. A combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.